What is up, Ladder Climbers? Antoine Witt here from Elevate to the Unknown, the Way Report, NextGenHeights.com, and it is Friday, December the 26th, 2025, 7 a.m. Central. We are live on a daily climb. The day after Christmas, most people are still in bed, still full from dinner last night, still surrounded by a whole bunch of wrapping paper. But you guys are here, and I need to show you guys something, okay? Two different Americas playing out right now. You got a company called Duolingo. You probably know them. They're a language learning app. Green Owl on your phone, reminding you to practice your Spanish, to practice your Portuguese or your Mandarin. 950 employees. Their CEO, Louis Von Ahn, just gave every single one of them 2 weeks off. The entire company shut down. Not rotating schedules, not skeleton crews, not, quote, essential or personal only. Everyone goes home at the same time. And here's what he said. He said, when you return, there's no pile to dig out. Think about that, guys. No emails piling up, no Slack messages waiting, no coming back to hundreds of fires because everyone was gone. That's the good life, right? Building a company that lasts means protecting the things that matter. That's what the CEO said. I want you guys to type Duolingo in the chat if you wish your company actually did that. They're starting to be known as a really good company. They've been in the news a lot lately too. You guys probably noticed my hands just now. My hands are all bruised up and messed up from this morning. Rub my hands against the ceiling. My mother-in-law has some popcorn ceilings up here and my hands are all bust up. But let me show you the other America. You got Carter's, the baby clothes company. You know them as Oshkosh B'gosh. Little onesies with the feet, and that's all cute. If you guys have ever bought any baby clothes, if you had any kids, 150 stores are closing, 300 corporate jobs cut. And when did they announce this? They announced this right after Christmas. They waited. They let you work the holiday rush. They let you sell the Christmas inventory. They let you smile at customers buying gifts for their babies. Then they told you, you're done. I want you guys to type after Christmas if that sounds pretty cruel. You guys got two companies. One gives you 2 weeks off. One fires you after you work the rush. Same country, same economy, same week. Two different Americas. And in today's show, I'm going to show you guys which one you're in. Okay? We already talked about the multiple Americas that we live in, but this has continued to happen. And we're going to talk also about the word that killed careers in 2025. And it was something that we talked about at the beginning of the year. We're going to talk about the cliff that's coming January the 5th. Two people who reinvented themselves at 40 years old. So you know it's not too late to reinvent yourself. We're going to be talking about Mark Cuban's advice on where you should actually go. We're also going to be talking about 8.3 million workers getting raises January the 1st. And what you need to do in the next 5 days before 2026 and before 2025 ends. If you're a ladder climber, guys, trying to navigate this economy, it's going to be the show for you. This is your intelligence briefing. We are back the day after Christmas. I want you guys to type ready in the chat if you're locked in. Let's see who's all in the house before we even get started, guys. It's the day after Christmas. We're back on the Way Report, and this is where we're going to be going forward. Get to see you, Big Suggs. Get to see you, Black 3 Aaron. Get to see the life of Cam. Get to see you, Nike. Get to see you guys. Man, it's the day after Christmas. It's a time to have a good old show today. It's time to have a good show today, man. I'm excited about today's show. And we're getting ready to make it happen. All right. Let's talk about the word that many of you guys heard me talking about at the beginning of the year. It's the scariest word that most people have heard this year. Okay? Guys, it's Friday, December the 26th, 2025. And I need to tell you guys about a word, one single word that defined 2025, that justified every single layoff, that became the excuse for destroying careers. And that word is, drum roll. Should we get a little bit of a party noise on this one right here? Should we give a little bit of a bicycle horn? Right? Should we give a little bit of a ba-dum boom? It is efficiency. We talked about that word at the beginning of the year. I came across this business article from Business Insider that was put out there on yesterday. And the headline says it all. The scariest word this year for workers from DC to Silicon Valley. And it says it's CEO's favorite word. It's CEO's favorite buzzword. And white collar workers' nightmare. Let me break this down for you guys. Every single time you heard a CEO said the word efficiency, what did that mean? It meant layoffs were coming. It meant your job was on the chopping block. It meant that they were replacing many of the workers with AI, with contractors, with nobody, just efficiency. As you guys type efficiency in the chat, if you guys heard this word many times this year, and if you actually heard me say that it was going to be the word of the year. Let me show you who started this. Mark Zuckerberg. He called 2023 the year of efficiency. And he kept going. Meta fired thousands in 2023, if you guys remember. Then he bragged about it. I want you guys to listen in on their Q3 2025 um, forecast call. So they had a Q3 2025 forecast call. I want you guys to listen into a little bit of this. Let me tee this up real quick for you. It's interesting because when I went and listened to their earnings report, he talked about the forecast call. I'm like, what is he talking about here? Let's get over to it real quick. I'm gonna put this on full screen. Check this out. Check this out right here. Make sure the audio is coming in too.
Today will include forward-looking statements which are based on assumptions as of today. Actual results may turn the call over to Mark.
All right, thanks, Ken. Thanks, everyone, for joining today. We had another strong quarter with 3.5 billion people using at least one of our apps every day. Instagram hit a major milestone with 3 billion monthly actives, and we're seeing good momentum across our other apps as well, including Threads, which recently passed 150 million daily actives and remains on track to become the leader in its category. I am very focused on establishing Meta as the leading frontier AI lab, building personal superintelligence for everyone, and delivering the app experiences and computing devices that will improve the lives of billions of people around the world. Our approach of advancing open source AI means that when Meta innovates, everyone benefits. Meta Superintelligence Labs is off to a strong start. I think that we've already built the lab with the highest talent density in the industry. We're heads down developing our next generation of models and products, and I'm looking forward to sharing more on that front over the coming months. We're also building what we expect to be an industry-leading amount of compute. Now, there's a range of timelines for when people think that we're going to get superintelligence. Some people think that we'll get there in a few years. Others think it will be 5, 7 years or longer. I think that it's the right strategy to aggressively front-load building capacity so that way we're prepared for the most optimistic cases. That way,
I'm gonna keep it short right there. But you heard him talking about all the things that they're doing. This was Q3, their earnings call. Heard Mark get on there and talk about all the things that he's doing. And he's talking about building all these compute, super intelligence. He's really he's really focused on this efficiency initiative. He's really focused on how do we create a lot of automation? How do we provide everyone that uses our applications enough to where you don't even have to think anymore? It does it for you. That's the level of efficiency this guy's talking about. And if you ever went to go listen to this Q3 earnings call in 2025, he uses the word efficiency 14 times. So you hear it. This is the man who started this trend, and it spread everywhere. Andy Jassy at Amazon said we need to flatten management. 14,000 corporate jobs were growing after that. Sundar Pichai at Google said we need to simplify the org chart. Thousands more gone after that. Elon Musk took efficiency to the federal government. And what did he do? He created a Department of Government Efficiency, right? DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. He sent federal workers an email saying, list the 5 things that you did this week, and in failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. 265,000 government workers have left their jobs this year because of efficiency. Now, let me show you exactly what efficiency actually looks like. Okay? And it's not for CEOs, it's not for shareholders, it's for real people. Business Insider talked to job seekers. They did it all year. And in this article, when they talked about the year of efficiency, and when they talked about the word and how it's impacted so many people, a young lady by the name of Jacqueline Klein, a recent college graduate, responded. She said she did everything right. Got a degree, got a GPA, had applied to hundreds of jobs. Here's what she said. She said, I have this degree, and that's a privilege. Not everyone has the opportunity to get. She says, but it didn't matter. She said, my GPA didn't matter. None of it mattered. If I didn't have a job, it didn't matter. That's what she said. I want you guys to type degree in the chat if you feel that. Isabella Clemens, a young lady who graduated in May 2025. This is what she said. She said, my dream job might exist, but I'm one of 400 people applying for it. One of 400 for one job. That's what she said. Charlie Kim, 20-something years old, eventually landed a big tech role. But here's what he said. He said, getting an interview is probably harder than the interviews themselves. I want you guys to think about that. The hardest part is getting seen. And then there's Abby Owens. She searched all summer. Here's what she said. She said, what I look for in a job has gotten so much broader. So she started specific dream job, dream company, dream role. Then she got desperate. And this is what she said. She said, it's just really grown into I'll accept almost anything. I want you guys to type anything in the chat if that's where you've been at one point in time in your career, excuse me. So this is what efficiency did to real people with real degrees. People coming out of college, they can't get hired. People who are a little bit older and a little bit senior in their career, they get laid off. People who are failing to adapt to the AI world are no longer needed. Even if you have real experience. This is what the quote said, reduced to I'll accept almost anything. So now here's the part that's going to make you mad on all this efficiency talk, all these layoffs, right? All these destroyed careers. It's not even working a lot of the times. It's not working a lot of the times, guys. We heard about the report that McKinsey published in June. Nearly 8 in 10 companies are using generative AI. 80%, okay? And the majority, there is no significant bottom line. So let me say that again. They fired a whole bunch of people. They replaced a whole bunch of people with AI. Then they called it efficiency, and it's not producing the results that they thought that they should get. Okay? Crazy, huh? Ain't that crazy? That is absolutely crazy. And this is the outcome of it. I'm going to share with you guys the outcome of a lot of this going on. Right? You got the July jobs report that we saw. Right? This is ABC talking about what happened in July. This is a whole bunch of people not getting hired into the economy in 2025. That's what you saw. Let me tee this one up.
Jobs jobs in July. That was less than expected. The unemployment rate came in at 4.2%. Investopedia's editor-in-chief, Caleb Silver, here to talk more about the numbers and what they mean to you. So just walk us through what we're seeing and what they say about our economy right now.
Yeah, well, that was less than expected. We were expecting around 100,000 jobs. Given the past few months, we've had really strong job growth, we thought, but we have massive revisions for May and June, down 275,000 jobs. Those job numbers back in May and June that we thought were so strong, way overstated. May revised 125,000 jobs lower. June, 133,000 jobs lower. This labor market is definitely not as strong as we thought. The hiring is not in the places where you thought tariffs would push it, in manufacturing and industrial production. It's still in healthcare and social assistance.
Is there any industry or category where we're seeing the biggest change right now?
It's healthcare, and that's really where it's been for the past year and a half. So healthcare, social assistance, physician assistants, that type of in-home care, that's been really popular. That's been where the gains are. But if you look at manufacturing, if you look at industrial production, if you look at retail, if you look at professional services, very flat right now. This job market feels like it's starting to weaken. We thought it was strong, but again, those numbers were not what we thought they were in May and June.
You heard it. This is what we were talking about in June and July, guys. This is exactly what we were talking about in June and July. Even Elon Musk, the guy who ran Doge, said it was a little bit successful. And he wouldn't do it again. A little bit successful. That's what 265,000 federal workers lost their jobs for. Just a little bit. Okay, so here's the thing. We talked about this many times. If you are a person who's on the fence about this whole AI thing, it's going to be around and it's going to stay here. Okay, get on board. But here's the thing. You really need to position yourself to be the person that's helping out. We talked about the strategies, implementation of this stuff. Being the person who can help with the creation of it. Being the person who can help with helping small businesses leverage it so that they can gain efficiencies. Efficiency killed a whole bunch of careers in 2025. And a lot of it was because people failed to adapt. And you see where the job growth is happening at. We've been talking about it for the last couple weeks. Healthcare. I had a friend who wasn't in the healthcare space. And all of a sudden, she was watching this show and she saw the opportunities in healthcare. Now she's making a whole bunch of money in the healthcare industry where she transitioned from tech and consulting. Efficiency killed careers in 2025. But here's another threat that's coming, though. I want you guys to be aware of. January the 5th. Okay? January the 5th, 10 days from now. 9 days from now, for the most part. Let me show you what's about to hit. So, efficiency was 2025's best word. It was the word that most people heard. It was something that I talked to you guys about at the beginning of the year and told you guys to be wary of. Well, there's a cliff coming in 9 days, the soft layoff strategy. I want to show you guys that, okay? This is the soft layoff strategy. I'm getting ready to show you guys what's coming. Now, WPP. You guys might not know this name at all, but they're the biggest advertising agency in the world. They make commercials that you see. They make ads that you see in your feeds. They make the billboards that you see on the highway. It's a huge company. And they just announced a new mandate starting January the 5th, 2026. 4 days a week in the office. Not 3, but 4 days a week in the office. Monday through Thursday in your seat, and they are not alone. Guess who's also doing it? Universities are doing it as well. Corporations are doing it as well. Government agencies are doing it as well. All rolling out strict return to the office mandates in January. Why don't you guys type January in the chat if your company is doing this? Type January in the chat. I know big companies are doing this right now. Some of the big tech companies have made it an initiative for it to be January, for it to be February, for it to be March. And they're rolling it out at the beginning of 2026. Type it in the chat. If this is what your company is doing, let me know. I want to see it. Let's continue on. Here's what they won't tell you, though, about these mandates. They're not about productivity. They're not about collaboration. They're not about company culture. They're soft layoffs. I want to explain this to you guys simply. Companies want to cut 10% of the workforce, but layoffs are expensive. Severance packages, unemployment insurance, bad PR, headlines that says the company fires thousands. Companies hate that. So they mandate 4 days in the office. And they want for a lot of people to quit. You can't move for your job, so you quit. You have kids and no childcare, you quit. You have a long commute, 2 to 3 hours, that destroys your life, so you quit. You have a disability that makes commuting hard, so you quit. No severance, no unemployment, excuse me. No bad headlines. You made the choice. At least that's what they'll say. I want you guys to talk soft layoffs in the chat if you see what they are doing. That's what's happening. And here's the data that proves it's working as well. 55%, more than half of workers say they plan to change jobs in 2026. 55% plan to change jobs in 2026. That's a lot of people, guys. January is resignation season. People wait until after the holidays, after the New Year's, after the holiday bonuses are paid, after the New Year, and they leave. But here's a trap. If you quit because of return to the office mandate, you get nothing. No severance, no unemployment, no leverage. The company wins. So what do? You don't quit emotionally. You start looking now. You line up your next opportunity. You negotiate your exit if you can, or you wait for them to lay you off. Because if they end it, you get paid. If you end it, you get nothing. That's how it works. So efficiency killed 2025. January 5th is coming. But let me show you something a little bit different. Two people who looked at this economy and reinvented themselves at 40 years old. Okay? That's what we're going to be talking about next. But before we get there, real quick, before we get into the stories that I want to share with you guys on people who reinvented themselves at the age of 40, if you want to go deeper, if you want to talk strategy of how to navigate efficiency layoffs, if you want to survive the RTO mandates and how to position yourselves for 2026, every Saturday at 10, well, not even at 10 a.m., I'm getting ready to say 10 a.m., but 7 a.m. Central, we go deep. Private coaching, resume reviews, salary negotiation scripts, direct access to me, patreon.com/Black Heights. Okay? I want you guys to check out the link into the description of this video. Join the Patreon if that's something that you're interested in. Okay? No guarantees on anything if you join the Patreon. Now, let me show you the pivot stories that people have made at the age of 40 years old. Okay? And many people say, you can't pivot. I can't do this. I can't do that. Well, there's a whole bunch of people that's doing it. And hopefully these resonate with you so that if you're looking to make a switch, a transition, this will give you a little bit of a better understanding of how you can go about doing it. Okay? I'm going to show you guys proof that reinvention is possible even at the age of 40. 40 years old. Many guys start to say people who are in their 40s are aunts and uncles. OGs. That's what a lot of the young people call us. People who are in their 40s, OGs. I say it like this. We have been around the block, so we are a lot smarter and a lot more wise. But here is Aurora Bryant. She spent 15 years as a lawyer. Not just any lawyer. A decade of that at the Department of Justice. So she was a trial attorney. Civil Rights Division. Helping the man who needs help. Right? Helping the people who things aren't right for him. Civil rights, huh? So she's the real deal. She investigated discrimination cases. She brought relief to victims. She did the work that mattered. That was her dream job. She wanted to be a lawyer since 5th grade. She read a whole bunch of John Grisham novels late at night, but something changed. She got frustrated, not with the mission, with the tools. She said the Department of Justice didn't have access to modern technology. There were bottlenecks everywhere, she said. They couldn't be efficient with outdated systems, so she started exploring. She went to conferences about e-discovery. That's the process of collecting digital evidence for cases. She learned about AI being applied to legal work, and she had a realization. Her future wasn't at the Department of Justice. So at 40 years old, after 15 years in law school, a decade at the Department of Justice, she left. She's now the senior legal data intelligence lead at a company called Relativity. They basically use AI to solve complex legal challenges. And she works with the data scientists. She works with the engineers. She works with the project leaders. She works with the designers. She even wrote a bit of code, she said, the other week. At 40 years old, never wrote code a day in her life. I want you guys to type 40 in the chat if that inspires you. Type 40 in the chat. And as Prescott says, hit the like button. The Life of Cam says 40 years is ancient. No, Cam. Man, you 26-year-olds old. You 26-year-old boys and men. Y'all, man. You know what? When you're 40 years old, you've seen the world, the full world once. You recognize patterns. You see the things that you once never saw. You see the people that you once thought were, people who were about stuff. They aren't about anything. And you see the people who you once thought weren't about anything. They're about stuff. At 40 years old, you are a seasoned person. You are a smart, wise individual. 40 years old, it's just the beginning. It's actually the full birth of you being around the sun 1 year or one lifetime. So, nah, man, 40 years old is the best. These should be the best years of your life. Let's get back to the point, though. So, here's what she said, and I want you guys to hear this. She said, I didn't see my career pivot as a risk. She said, I saw it as an exciting opportunity to try something new. She didn't see it as scary. She saw it as exciting. Before deciding what was next, she said, you have to understand your goals, what you enjoy, and how you can best leverage your experience. She didn't abandon her legal experience, she says. She basically used what she'd been doing for a long time to pivot into a completely different industry. She applied it different. She applied it differently. 15 years of understanding how lawyers work. Now she builds the tools that make lawyers better. That's not really starting over. That's evolving. Okay, that's like, if you spend a whole bunch of time, working in the warehouse, why not go and start working for companies who implement warehouse software? That's evolving. That's what it is. That's growing. That's getting to the next level. That's ladder climbing. And that's exactly what she did. And I want to talk about another one that came up of this gentleman. Someone who pivoted actually twice. Justin Pines. Okay? You guys don't know anything about Justin Pines, but I do. Justin Pines, 42 years old. He started where a lot of ambitious start. He went to Harvard Law. Smart individual. Then he went to Paul Weiss. If you don't know what that name is, that's one of the biggest corporate law firms in the country. He made a whole bunch of money. Had great colleagues. Couldn't afford his own apartment in New York City, though. Okay? Something was wrong when he was working at the law firm. He looked at the partners and he saw what was waiting for him. Everything felt like an emergency, he says. Partners would get work at the worst possible times. Friday afternoons when it's time to go home, to spend some time with your family. Right before Thanksgiving, your partners would just get all this work. He said that was his future. So he said if he stayed in that career, at 29 years old, he would quit. Okay, so what did he do? He quit. He quit big law to become a rabbi. That's what he did. Big surprise. Sounds crazy. But he said he made a chart. 6 potential industries. He interviewed people in each career. He listed the pros and cons, and then he decided more than anything, he wanted to learn about something that he cared deeply about. So he went to rabbinical school. I don't know how you even say that, but it's like rabbinical school. Then he became the director of character development at a Jewish middle school, teaching kids. He said he loved it. But here's the honest part, he said. Said, I wish educators were paid better. I'm like, come on, Justin. We know educators aren't paid better. And that's what he said he wished they were. And I think a lot of times we say that we want our educators to be paid a lot better. Unfortunately, they're not. He said it's hard to support a family being an educator. Okay? Said it was a struggle personally. Said I needed a shift, especially going from big law to being an educator. So once he made that pivot, he had to pivot again at 40. Now he's the CEO of a Jewish broadcasting service, a TV network. He interviews rabbis, artists, writers, academics. He says, I can hardly believe it's my job to sit with heroes for an hour asking them whatever I want to ask them. He says, I'm constantly pinching myself. That's what he said. I was like, holy crap, man, that's a big time switch right there. And I came across one of his videos because I'm like, all right, let me see this guy in action. Let me see this guy in action. You know, he's a CEO of a company, and he interviews people all day. So I wanted to see what he was up to. Let me show you guys this. This is him right here. This is him sitting down with him being interviewed about being a CEO of JBS, Jewish Broadcasting Services.
As far as your question, I think, Rabbi Golub left very large shoes to fill here, and he really created something very, very special. And I am here to try to lead the team, working with our larger team around taking that vision into the future, both working with and working closely with our existing community, our existing audience, growing that audience, thinking about the new content and material that our audience will be interested in, and kind of moving JBS into its next chapter.
That's wonderful, and I do want to give a huge shout out to the legacy JBS team because they have been extraordinary to me and I think to all the viewers watching. It really does feel like a family here, as professionally as it's run. And I want to get to your bio a little bit, but before I do, one of the things that I think is most urgent and important about JBS is that we want and we need a place that's a hub of smart and sensitive Jewish conversation. I'm not complimenting myself being smart. I'm talking about my guests and the other programming that it has. But a lot of people still don't know that JBS is here. So what can you say about trying to get JBS in front of more people and making it part of their kind of daily or weekly routine in terms of Jewish content?
Great. I think it's a great question. It's a really important question right now. So I think that step one is still continue to make the best content that we can make. Right, strong content finds its way to eyeballs no matter what. So let's start with, continuing to strengthen and improve our content and make it the best that it can be. I think stay in our lane of continuing to be pluralistic, representing different voices across the spectrum, having real conversations and not kind of just putting noise out there for the sake of putting noise out there.
You heard him. So this man went from big law, teacher, educator at a middle school, teaching middle school students, to now he's the CEO of a Jewish broadcasting services network, doing videos on YouTube. You can reinvent yourself at any point in time in your career. Here's for the 26-year-olds like the life of Cam, who says the 40-year-olds old are old. You can't reinvent yourself at 26 because you haven't really known much. You haven't done much. At 40 years old, you've done a lot. That's the thing about being 40 years old. You have a whole bunch of life left. And even when you're 50, we have Erica in the chat that says reinventing at 50. You can do it at 50. You can do it at 60. You can do it at 70. That's the part about life that's so beautiful, is you can shift at any point in time to make that switch. This is what Justin had to say also. He says people often treat their careers as ladders to climb. He says this, rather than journeys with a North Star and lots to learn along the way. He says a journey with a North Star, not a ladder. Said a journey. I found that interesting because, I call myself the ladder climbers. We call ourselves the ladder climbers here. But at the end of the day, it's kind of the same thing. You just keep climbing. You keep climbing. That's it. North Star, whatever you call it, you keep climbing. You keep going to that direction. You keep moving. So here's the thing. Aurora, she pivoted at 40 from law to AI. Justin pivoted twice from law to becoming a rabbi and a middle school teacher to a CEO of a media network. It's possible. Even at 40, even at 30, even at 50, even at 60, but especially at 40. I want you guys to type journey in the chat if you guys needed to hear that. Type journey in the chat. We've seen the threats, guys. We've seen the escapes. Now let me show you where to go. Mark Cuban just dropped some advice. And it's not what you guys think. It's not what you think. Before I get to Mark Cuban's advice, before I show you what you need to do this weekend, because it is a Friday, if you want everything that we are covering today, a full recap of this show, every story, every data point, every opportunity in your inbox, Monday through Friday, we have 700 plus subscribers into our newsletter. It is free. 38% open rate. That's double the industry average. Okay? Check out the link in the description of this video. Sign up for the newsletter. It's also a way for me to get a hold of you, to show you what's going on. If we move platforms, this is the way for me to get a hold of you as well. Sign up for the newsletter inside your inbox Monday through Friday at 11:30 a.m. Central. You will get all his insights so that you don't have to write and take notes. Number 2, just like my man Prescott says, hit the like button, guys. Hit it right now. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Turn on your notifications. This is your CNBC for your careers. 7 a.m. Central, Monday through Friday. Workforce intelligence, not emotional reactions. All right. Now let's get to Mark Cuban. I like Mark Cuban. He's an interesting guy. We're gonna get to him real quick. All right. Let's get to Mark Cuban's playbook. I came across a Business Insider article this morning, and it was talking about Mark Cuban giving surprising advice to the younger generation. Mark Cuban is a billionaire, Shark Tank legend, Dallas Mavericks previous owner. He just dropped some really good advice from my perspective on December the 25th, yesterday on Christmas. And it's not what most people would think. But here's what he said. He said new graduates should not go to big companies. New graduates should go to small and medium-sized businesses. He says big companies don't need new grads. Okay? He said that. Big companies don't need new grads for this. Entrepreneur companies will love the value that you add. I want you guys to type small business in the chat if that surprises you. Here's why he said this. He said, it's because of AI agents. Kind of the conversation we was having a little bit earlier. These are the virtual assistants that can complete tasks on their own. So big companies are implementing AI agents and they're able to do a lot of the tasks that the younger generation can do, especially if you're coming out of college. And they can do it from start to finish. Okay? Without you prompting them every step of the way. Big companies already have teams building this out. They don't need you, he says. But he says small businesses, this is what we talked about before, they don't know how to use this stuff. Says new grads can teach small businesses how to use agents to optimize processes. You, as somebody who's seasoned, you already know the game. You already know the ins and outs. If you learn this AI stuff, you can be doing the exact same thing. This is an opportunity for you to move up and climb the ladder in the small business. because you have experience. You've in accounting, and you know there's automation going on with accounting. Now you're at a small business making a huge impact because now you know AI and you can help them implement AI in a small business to optimize the processes. And they couldn't do that without you. Okay? This is an opportunity for you as someone who's a little bit senior in your career, a little bit wiser, to be able to do this as well. Not just the small, the young folks coming out of college. When I heard Mark Cuban say this, I said, this is the exact same thing I've been telling a lot of climbers for a long time. That's your value. You know the technology. Use it. Some of the young people, they're growing up with this stuff. Use it. Small businesses need you to teach them how to leverage this sort of stuff. I came across um Cuban talking to Tim Ferriss. No, it wasn't Tim Ferriss. It was this young man right here. And here's what he said about advice for young people to use AI to build. Check this out.
What do you say? What advice would you give them?
Learn everything you can about AI because it changes everything. You can, go to, hopefully you've gone to college and taken business. You still want to read books about and by every entrepreneur you can find, because that just gives you an angle. The thing about AI, you have to know the questions to ask and you have to understand the responses. And so, but that said, if you've made the decision to start a business, going into AI and just saying, write me a business, here's everything I want to do, what I want to accomplish, here's what I know, here's what I don't know, write me a business plan, put together a marketing plan. What's the best way for me to promote it and market it? Where should I spend my money if I only have $79? Those are the questions you can ask AI that in the past you'd just kind of be, stuck because you might not have access to a mentor or an expert or a professor that can help you. Now you've got Mark Cuban in your phone, and they're going to give you I ask those kinds of questions, and I know how to disseminate what's good and what's bad, but to get started and to ask it follow-up questions and to try things and see if it works, AI is like having a cadre of the world's best business professors and entrepreneurs right in your hand. And so that's part one. Part two is within the kitchen industry, everywhere, there's going to be two types of companies: those who are great at AI and everybody else. And if you don't understand AI, there's going to be somebody that is using it to try to get it to gain an edge on you.
Apart from AI,
You heard him say it. You heard him say it. This is a gentleman who's investing into AI as well, too, guys. Great question. Great question. I see your Life of Cam says, I created an AI agent for individual and small group real estate investors. I'm telling you, man, if you're not playing around with this stuff, you're behind, man. You're behind. I'm telling you, I have a Google AI studio, and I'm in here just about every single day, seeing what else I can build. Let me get to my studio here. I have an app that I like to use to help me with, what do you call it? My thumbnails. Created an app for that. You guys check out the thumbnails on the Elevate to the Unknown YouTube channel. Have the Heights Command Center, right? Where these are apps that I built. These are apps that I built for my Patreon users. You can take a 5-minute assessment to determine if you're burning out in your career. I have an inventory app that I was messing around with my Patreon members, where you can, if you were inside of a retail store and you wanted to, do some cycle counts, you can do that, right? Scan, take an image from your phone. My man Cam says he built an AI agent for an LLC and for real estate investors. You should be using this stuff every single day, guys. Learning something, especially during the holidays right now where there's not much going on. If you're home, I have no idea what I'm going to build today, but I'm going to be building something. I'm going to be building something. I'm on here creating thumbnails and all sorts of stuff, figuring out ways how I can improve the content that I create, improve the job that I do on a daily basis. This is what AI is here for. And he's telling the young generation to go out there and learn this stuff. Help the smaller businesses that's out there. I loved it. Okay. And the data backs this up of what he's talking about. A study of more than 400 companies are really starting to implement agentic AI. And they started it December 2024. 50% of companies. Okay. By May 2025, 82% of companies are using agentic AI in some fashion. That was a 32% jump in 5 months. So companies are racing to adopt the agentic AI. And I told you guys, I was at an AI summit in New York a couple weeks ago. That was the word. Agentic AI. Here's the other part. Handshake, the platform for college job seekers. They reported job postings down 15% year over year. Applications per posting up 30%. Fewer jobs, more competition. But here's what's interesting. More than a third of the applications from new grads went to companies with 250 employees or fewer. So they're already going to small businesses because that's where the opportunity is. They're catching on. Go to a small business. So here's the play. If you are a new grad, or if you're pivoting like Aurora, or you're pivoting like Justin, don't chase the big logos. Google, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, they continue to cut because they are using agentic AI. They don't need you as a small, or I don't want to say small in the wrong term, but as a young individual coming out of college. They don't need you. So go to the companies that are growing with 10 employees, with 50 employees, with 200 employees. Those are the companies that need someone like you to teach them how to use AI agents, how to create content. I mean, I think the generation that's coming up now, they are like the content leaders. They understand what people react to online. You can help them with content. A small business who doesn't produce any sort of content, they're working hard because they have to be out there in the field every single day. They have to figure out how they're going to market themselves. If they bring somebody like you from out of college who understands content strategy or are willing to learn it, that's going to help them, their businesses or their business tenfold. It's going to increase the eyeballs on the business, whereas therefore, if you increase the eyeballs, you can close more transactions, which therefore means you're growing revenue. That's where you can add value. That's where you get the opportunity. That's where you get noticed. Not buried in some company with 50, 60, 70,000 employees. And I know it's a good thing for your resume, the big brands and the big companies and so forth, but consider the small companies as well. Mark Cuban is telling you exactly where to go. The question is are you listening? And this is not just for the younger ones as well. This is for the folks who are looking to make that transition, people who are looking to make that pivot. I want you guys to type listening in the chat if you're listening. So Cuban told you where to go. I told you where to go. So what's coming in January? We got some good news that's coming in January. There's a whole bunch of opportunities that's coming in January. Let's talk about those. Okay. You got, starting January 1st, New Year's, 8.3 million workers are getting raises. Now, many of you guys are like, Anton, what are you talking about? Well, 19 states are raising their minimum wage. That's $5 billion in new earnings. And it's going to workers' pockets. That's what it's doing. It's going to workers' pockets. Now, many of you guys who aren't making minimum wage, you're probably like, I don't care about this. It's good, though, because this is what it's going to do. It's going to stimulate the economy. That's what it's going to do. It's going to stimulate the economy. People are going to be making more. People can afford more. So they're going to spend more. And you could be part of that reason that people are going to make a transaction with, which therefore puts more money in your pocket. That's how I look at it. Now, I want to go to a video that I came across on just this, on the minimum wage. Let's get there real quick. I know I teed it up somewhere in here. There we go.
Nearly 24 states and Washington, D.C. will be raising their minimum wages in 2026, and in some places it will be more than double the current federal minimum wage. So the federal minimum wage has been $7.25 an hour since 2009, and some states still use that number. But according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the amount of hourly workers who earned the federal minimum wage or less last year was around 1%. Some economists say history shows small changes in wages don't have a huge effect on businesses.
Companies either absorb the cost or they'll pass some of it forward in the form of higher prices to consumers.
Most of the wage increases will take effect January 1st. Oregon, Alaska, and Florida will raise their hourly minimum wages later in the year.
You heard it. People are going to be getting paid more money, guys. Many of you guys are thinking minimum wage doesn't apply to me. But here's why it matters. The minimum wage goes up. Wages above it also rise. It's called compression. If entry level goes to 16, the job that was 16 now needs to be 18. It ripples up. So even if you're not making minimum wage, this affects your negotiation leverage, guys. You got to think broader. Think about it. Now, where are jobs going? Let's talk about that. I wanted to make sure I hit on this one because I'm going to hit on it again. Manufacturing technology, not manufacturing technology. There are shifts. Manufacturing technology, the job growth up 99% year over year, almost double. Why? Well, because of reshoring. Companies are bringing production back to America, plus automation. They need people who can run the machines. Healthcare continues to add jobs. 46,000 continues. Nursing, physicians, home health, therapy. If you can get into healthcare, this is where you should be going. You have job security in healthcare. And then there's the skilled trades. You got ABC in Wisconsin, because I'm in Wisconsin right now. They just opened a new training center in Madison, Wisconsin. 2,600 apprentices earning while they learn. No debt. You get paid to get trained. Then you graduate into a career. That's an opportunity. And if you're in Madison, Wisconsin, you can move anywhere else outside of Wisconsin after that because you are an apprentice. Here's the shift. The jobs that are dying, white collar, office work, corporate. The jobs that are growing, healthcare, trades, manufacturing technology. The economy is telling you guys something. The question is are you listening? And I'm not saying that everyone needs to become a plumber. What I'm saying, though, is follow the data. Go where the opportunities are, not where they used to be. So we got raises coming. We got healthcare hiring. We got manufacturing technology booming. But you guys got 5 days before 2025 ends. Let me show you exactly what to do. All right. It's going to be about opportunity. So stay with me on this segment. Before we get there, real quick, I want to give you guys a playbook. But if you want personal guidance, if you want someone in your corner, if you want some people in your corner, every Saturday at 7 a.m., we are live on our Patreon. We meet with the brother Cam. We meet with Big Suggs. We meet with all these guys in the chat. We can review whatever it is that we want to review. I typically come with a topic, and everybody is on it. Last week, we were talking about AI and prompting and how people can start building their AI business, or people can start making content We got Big Suggs who's making real estate content. We got Life of Cam who's out there and crushing it right now with his AI LLC that he created. All right. We have your brother Jabron who's a trainer on AI agents and in AI. We have Danny who's in the nursing field. Right. There's a whole bunch of us that gets on this call at 7 a.m. in the morning and we just chop it up. I typically come with a topic. If there's no topic, we're going to talk and see what people want to go through. And the next thing you know, we're off by 8:30. 1 hour every Saturday. Not only that, you get access to me during the week as well too. All right. Check it out. Link in the Patreon. Link of the Patreon in the description of this video. Okay. I couldn't even talk just now. Need to take a sip of my coffee. Let's talk about the playbook now. So, before 2025 ends, here's what you can do. There's a lot of certifications that's out there. Number one, free certifications. Many of you like free. Some of these certifications are ending. You got Oracle NetSuite, free certifications through December the 31st, up to 4 exam attempts. That's 4 chances to pass for free. December the 31st. You got Salesforce. Have AI Associate and AI Specialist certifications, completely free through December the 31st. Okay, you got Microsoft free exam retakes. So if you schedule between now and December the 31st, the code is VUE Cyber Monday retake. If you don't pass the first time, you get a free second attempt. All right. Now, we talked on on Wednesday about things that we could be doing over the weekend. We came across a story of the gentleman who is a CTO of a tech company in New York, and he spends 35 minutes every single day on his commute learning about new technology and how other people have implemented it. And he spends 4 hours on the weekends crushing it, learning, doing things, building. Well, here's a weekend action plan. Okay? Your weekend action plan. Number 1, block 4 hours this weekend. We talked about the Visa executive. That's what he was. He was from Visa. 4 hours every single week, dedicated to learning. He said something along the lines of the skills that make people successful today will be obsolete in the next 3 to 5 years. So if you're banking on the skills that you currently have in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to be playing catch up. So you need to be learning. 4 hours this weekend. You can study for a cert. You can learn a new skill. You can touch a new software program. You can build something. Number 2, if you're looking for a new job, update your resume. Do it before the end of the year. That's what you can do. It'll allow for you to look back at your 2025 accomplishments, get that in order so that you can present yourself in a better way in 2026. Okay? Update your resume. Number 3, apply strategically. Remember what Mark Cuban said. Small businesses, those are the ones with 10 employees, 50 employees, 200 employees, right? That's where you can add value. Don't send 100 applications to big logos. Send 10 applications to companies that actually need you. All right. These small businesses, they are looking for people like you. For if you are early on in your career, that's a great place to start. If you are in the mid of your career, okay, 40s, want to make a transition, they need your help. You work for the corporate large companies for quite some time. Bring your learnings, bring your AI skills, bring your wisdom to these small, medium-sized businesses. So you guys heard it. Free certifications are ending. Block your 4 hours this upcoming weekend. If you're going to be applying, be strategic about your applying. So that's your playbook for the weekend. I want to close out now. It's 8:22 on Friday. Before I go, if you guys have gotten value from the show, make sure you hit like on the video. Okay? That's number 1. Three things that I want you to consider. Number one, the newsletter. Full recap of everything that we covered today in your inbox, Monday through Friday. Check out the link in the description of this video. All right. Number two, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, hit the subscribe button. Okay. This is your CNBC for your career, 7 a.m. Central every single weekday. Number three, Patreon. If you want to be a part of the community, the Louder Climate community, check out the Patreon link in the description. All right, let me close this thing out on this Friday so you guys can get back to your families, enjoying the rest of your day. It's the day after Christmas. Duolingo, they gave 90 plus employees 2 weeks off. Carter's, they fired 300, after they worked through the holiday rush. Two different Americas. Efficiency. Efficiency was the scariest word of 2025. I told you guys that. January 5th, 2026 is the RTO cliff. It's coming to many corporations. It's coming to many businesses. What are they looking for? Looking for you to get back into the office. All right. We talked about Aurora, her making a pivot at 40 years old from law to AI. We talked about Justin making a pivot twice. I mean, like from a lawyer to a middle school teacher to a CEO. We talked about Mark Cuban saying going small. I said go small too. 8.3 million Americans are getting raises starting January the 1st. Manufacturing technology is up 99%. Consider that area. Healthcare still hiring like crazy. Free certifications are ending December the 31st. You guys got 5 days. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Start 2026 being dangerous because of this content that you're ingesting, none of that BS where you're seeing dash cams and cop cams. And I know that stuff is entertaining, but you're getting the knowledge that you need right now to make moves in 2026. Okay. Monday, 7 a.m. We're back on it. We're back at it. Guys, this is the Daily Climb. Choose intelligence over emotions. Go and have yourself a good rest of your day. I appreciate you guys for being here. You got Jason in the house. Wayne says, love it. Have a beautiful weekend. I definitely will. Danny says, looking forward to tomorrow. 8 a.m. Can't come fast enough. I appreciate you, Danny. Big Suz, the life of Cam. You know it. Change that mindset. Follow with actions. I'm telling you guys, man. All it is you start to cook, and people are going to start cooking with you. That's it. All right. Prescott says, my dad is 85 and has always been a musician. He's doing AI songs with his senior friends and remastering them in Logic. That's dope, man. At 85 years old. That's freaking amazing. I love that. Ant Dog says, I'm on Claude at least 6 hours a day. Wow, man. That's dope. I love it. You know what, Ant Dog? I am not sharing my screen right now, but here it is. I'll share it. I'll share it, man. This tab right here, this Claude tab, this thing is always open, brother. Always open. Prompts on prompts on prompts. This is my daily show preparation framework for today. I went out there and I had to create some prompts, had to create the show structure. Next, I'm in perplexity building images. Check out my images that I built. It's about AI, guys. It's about AI. This is kind of stuff that we're also learning inside of the perplexity. I said the perplexity inside of Patreon. And we got individuals who are using this to create their own content in any way that you want to do it. It's fantastic, guys. AI, it's here. It is absolutely here. I've been working on creating better thumbnails. And if you can see here, like creating content at this point in time is going to become very easy for many people to do if they get out of their own way of being scared. Let me show you guys something. The AI has gotten so good to where you don't have to necessarily have a thumbnail designer anymore. It's gotten so good if you can prompt. And the better you prompt, the better you can create. You just have to imagine it. And it's about the prompting. And this is also something that we learned in the Patreon as well. But check out this image. I'm like, you guys know I do the crazy face on my thumbnails, but this is a prompt that I use to create this thumbnail. I used a prompt to create this thumbnail. This is not inside of, Photoshop or anything like that. This is what you can do these days. I mean, I've been working on prompting so much over the last couple of days to where I'm dropping a video right here. This is an AI prompt using my image that I gave it for a video that I'm going to drop a little bit later today. Now, some of these, turn out very well. Some of them turn out to be okay. But guys, I'm telling you like this. Thumbnail designers, they should be scared. I'm like, it's one of those things now where if you're good at prompting, you can create just about anything at this point. That's why people are on here vibe coding, creating games and so forth, right? So AI is the future. This is what small businesses need help with. If you can learn this stuff, you can be very, very valuable to some of the small businesses, just like Mark Cuban said. I wanted to share that with you guys so that you know that this is the future. This is the future, guys. It's fun too. It's absolutely fun. But guys, go in and enjoy the rest of your day. I appreciate you guys. We will see you guys on Monday. And for the Patreon group, if you guys have anything that you wanted to touch on tomorrow morning regarding this show, send it. Put it in the Ask Antoine Discord, and then I'll get to it. I'm trying to come up with some ideas a little bit later this afternoon on what we're going to discuss tomorrow, and it's going to be around AI that I haven't thought of. But if there's anything that you guys need for me to answer, let me know or demonstrate. Have a blessed day, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.